Chrissy Chris. Chrissy Chris. All right, all right. Welcome back, everybody, to episode number 7, The Good, the Bad, the Convicted. This is Almost Athletes, myself, Mike, and your boy Elvis over there. This week, our rundown is going to be very simple. We're going to do NBA Finals update, NHL update. We're going to talk about the convicted Jones. I meant Pac-Man. I mean convict. I mean,
Whatever we're gonna call them today.
whatever we're going to call them.
Clown shoes. Yeah.
Yep, we're gonna get in a little bit into the new NCAA settlement, House versus NCAA. We'll talk about some college baseball updates. Then we'll go into flag football with women, and last but not least, we'll talk about Phil Mickelson's amazing shot. So let's jump into it. First thing that we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about the NBA playoffs. Chris, what's your take on Game 2?
Holy shitballs. Game 1 was insanity. The Pacers had more turnovers and field goals made in the first half, which is the first time that's happened in the finals in 30 years or something. By all accounts, should not have won that game, but Halliburton did Halliburton things and pulled it off. Game 2 went kind of how I expected it to go. SGA put on a show, and Indy couldn't keep up. I mean, it was a blowout, and yeah, it wasn't surprising to me.
Yeah. So for me, Game 1, I'm going to tell you it was the complete opposite of what I thought. Pacers bench outscored OKC. I mean, the Pacers were just they were getting they were getting beat pretty bad through the first 3 quarters. Midway through the third quarter, OKC started beating themselves. And the Pacers made the right plays. They started hitting shot. OKC started to go cold. So you started to see a different element of OKC. But the first game really should have been OKC. They just, quite honestly, threw the game away. Game 2, I expected. OKC was on all cylinders. They were playing with all cylinders. They were hitting shots. Their defense was on point. One of the big things that I was a little surprised with was Wiggins. Wiggins hitting as many threes as he did, the way he played. Caruso. Caruso is that player, is the TJ McConnell on the Pacers. He does all those small things. He plays defense. He gets the players that need the ball in their hands. But the unique thing about this series, which I think OKC has been getting away with so far, is they've been playing very physical. Pascal, they've been playing him physical the entire game, and they've been getting away with it. They're playing NBA Finals basketball. Keys going forward, I think OKC has to continue their defensive strength. I think they have to continue to contain Halliburton. They're playing him hard. They're switching on everything. They're making sure they're in his face. And they're playing Pascal physical. OKC's got too many weapons. They don't have really many weaknesses on their team. So I think this series is still going to be OKC's to lose. If the Pacers win another game, I think it's going to be OKC throwing the game away.
Yeah, the one thing I liked in the second game, OKC was up by 23 points or something with 5 minutes left in the half. And they went down the court and they shot a couple bad threes, and the Pacers scored a couple points. I think they scored 2 threes in a bucket. And all of a sudden, their 12-0 run went to a 9-0 run the other way, and the lead went from 23 to 14, in a heartbeat.
In an instant. Mm-hmm.
And I liked that SGA went down there the next 2 positions and just took it to the hole.
Mm-hmm.
Both times. They didn't shoot any bad threes. He just took it to the hole. First time he scored, the second time he scored and got fouled. And so, that puts them back in it where they're not, all of a sudden that 9-0 run doesn't become a 14-0 run or something crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think in the first game, in the third quarter, like you said, they didn't do that. They just tried to shoot another 3, and they tried to shoot another 3, and it caught up with them. And I think that in this game, if OKC wants to win, when that happens, when they get up big, because it's going to happen again, and then the Pacers put on a move to come back, SGA is going to have to take the ball in his hands and drive it to the hole and put some buckets in to like give the team some confidence and make sure that those runs don't turn into double-digit runs. And then all of a sudden OKC is only winning by a few, and it changes the whole dynamic of the game. Because if they keep the Pacers around, the Pacers are going to find a way.
Yeah, so the Pacers, I think, cohesiveness, that's what makes their team so good. OKC is a completely different story. I think you got so much more talent, but OKC's role players, I think, are better role players than Indiana's role players. I mean, if you look at their squad just in general, they are more of a defensive-oriented team, and they play tough. They switch, they pick up mismatches, they know how to rotate in coverage. I think OKC, they're going to play through SGA like usual. That's their game plan. That's been their game plan. They give him the ball, let him create, let him go to work. And SGA did a better job in game 2 of finding players that were open and making smarter decisions, especially in the second half. That was one of the things that I noticed in the game. I think they have to continue to do that in order to win. But the one thing about the game that I did love is I loved watching Tyrese Halliburton's girlfriend getting loud with the crowd in OKC and telling them to all shut up. That was interesting, but I don't think she's going to help them in Game 3. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the keys to the Pacers winning are Halliburton has been essentially he was shut out in the second game. I mean, I don't think he scored double digits. He had a bunch of assists, but he did a lot more driving and dishing than he normally does. He usually shoots the ball more, but he only shot like 1 for 5 for 3. So it was a poor night. If he can get into his average somewhere around 16 to 18 points, that will help tremendously. And I noticed there's a mismatch when Turner and Siakam or however you say his name.
Pascal Siakam.
Yeah, Siakam. When those two are in the game together, there's a mismatch down low because they don't have two big guys that can really body to body. I mean, they got what's his face, the tall, lanky dude.
Yeah, Chet, but that's Chet's game though. He's 7 foot wide. That's what's the important thing against Siakam on the switch. Evan Turner's been basically an outside presence shooting threes, realistically.
Yeah, when they were both in, because they're usually both in when Halliburton is resting. When they were both in, there's definitely a mismatch down low, and they were getting a lot more offensive boards. Because I think they're just too. The OKC's other big man, he just doesn't play much. He's not really very good, so he only comes in once in a while.
No, he's decent.
He's okay, but they don't
decent.
put both of them in at the same time. So when both Turner and Siakam are in, there's a clear mismatch down low with two big men, and they don't have two big men down low for OKC. And if they can capitalize on that, get some points on the board when Halliburton's sitting, and Halliburton, when he comes back in, scores some points, I mean, they have a chance to keep this close. Because they have seen a ton of adversity this year, and it's clearly they don't shy away from it. So,
So, no, I agree with you in certain aspects. But yeah, so let's go to the NHL playoffs update. We'll talk a little bit about the Panthers now and the Oilers. Did you see last night's game?
Oh my God, the series has been insane.
It's been pretty outlandish.
I thought I was going to be in more.
Mm-hmm.
The first game was kind of what I thought it was going to be. It was going to be a close game, and McCormick, right? His assist to Draisaitl basically scored the game-winning game, in overtime. I mean, that's kind of what we expect from him. Those two guys taking over a game in overtime to win for their team at home. I mean, that's kind of what I expected. Game 2, double overtime, insanity. I mean, obviously it could have gone either way. And then game 3 at home, Florida just turned it on. I mean, Bennett is insane. I mean, he's 14 goals now.
Yeah.
Off season. I mean, he's leading by 5 goals or something. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, so Bennett had a goal, Markin had a goal, Reinhardt had a goal, Rodriguez had a goal, and I'm not even going to try to say the other Russian's name because I can't pronounce that name. Yeah, I didn't watch the first game. I watched the second and third game. The last game I paid very close attention. It was a man among boys, that game. Florida just played so much better. They were so much more cohesive. They moved the puck better, and they set themselves up actually a lot better. You could see kind of more so their teamwork. You could see the defensive nature. You could see the puck moving. And obviously, they scored a hell of a lot more. It was 6-1 at the end of that game. So I think, they're playing at the Panthers again. I think it's going to be the same thing going forward. I think if Florida continues this kind of pattern and they build off of the last 2 wins, I think they're going to be an unstoppable foe. I think Bennett's going to continue to dominate the way that he's been dominating, and I think the team around him sets him up to do that. So I think Florida's going to continue going forward. I think the series, like you said, has been very entertaining. I just think there might be a breakaway after last game, seeing the dominant nature by Florida at home. I think that you're going to see that the next game. And then, your series is 3-1. Clearly, there's an advantage there. So it's going to be an interesting one to see. I definitely think Florida has the pieces. I definitely think Florida has the momentum now, which is extremely important, especially in playoffs, and they're playing home. So my finger's still going to be on Florida going forward.
Oh, yeah, for sure. The Oilers this year have been a really good team on the forecheck, and they have not been able to really establish that very much in these games. They did a better job in Game 1 than they had in 2 and 3. And it's because Florida's just moving. They're flying around. It's surprising to see that they have this much energy this late in the season. But they're playing fast and loose like they have all year, and it's paying dividends. And they are a talented bunch, and they're stealing the puck, getting a lot. They're getting a ton of, 2-on-1s and, 2 on just the goalie, just goals, right?
Yeah.
Which is not something you see from a finals team, right? But it's just because the Oilers seem like they're a little flat, and they're used to holding the pressure on a team, not having the pressure put on them this consistently.
Yeah. So I think that's good. And, the thing about me with Florida is watching Florida play Bennett. It's when you have that player that's playing at such a peak, talent, in the moment, his play is just unstoppable. That's Bennett for you right now. He's just unstoppable. And I think he's going to continue it. And right now, he's got the momentum. I don't foresee him slowing down. I just don't see the Oilers slowing down at all.
No, they're going to keep their foot on the gas for sure.
Yeah. All right, let's go to some fun topics after we're talking about the updates.
Your man,
Pac-Man Convict Jones.
Former Cowboy.
Pac-Man Jones, if you're not aware, played in the NFL for multiple teams. One of those teams were the Bengals. Another team was your lovely Cowboys. Interesting, he was arrested once again. He's 41 years old. So he was arrested for alcohol intoxication in a public place, disorderly conduct, and assaulting a police officer in Covington, Kentucky. Well, the funny thing about this is supposedly he elbowed the police officer while handcuffed, striking the officer in the face and causing the cop's lip to bleed. So let me ask you a question. How many times do you think Pac-Man Jones has been arrested in the last 4 years?
In the last 4 years? It's more than once a year, I'm assuming.
Oh, he's been arrested 4 times.
Oh,
4 times.
Okay.
Pac-Man Jones is notorious in the NFL when he played for getting arrested. The fact that he has been able to evade jail time for so long is insane. I don't care what anybody says. 2005, he was involved in a Las Vegas strip club shooting as well as several other incidents. He was also arrested in 2023 for intoxication and terroristic threats that took place on an airplane. If that was you and me, guess what? We would be in jail. In November of this year, in November of last year, he was booked on a single count of suspicion of disorderly conduct. This is my whole thing. And the reason why I want to bring this up is more so NFL. NFL has a arrest problem, a kind of issue with the law enforcement. Now, I understand the NFL has expanded rosters. I understand there's a lot of players that play in the NFL, not just on the live roster, but also on the practice roster. But he is kind of the face. Everybody remembers him as being the convict and the face of the NFL. The worst part about this is he was a great, great, great football player. I mean, he was known for his ability, but it was overshadowed by his history of off the field activities and being arrested. The other thing about it is his ability was so great that he got arrested a million times, or how many times, can't remember the exact amount, but he was able to continue playing. As you can tell, that's a lovely photo of him. But this is kind of a problem that goes forward, though. It's, especially in the NFL, but especially just in general with sports. Some individuals are a product of their environment, what they grew up through and what they've experienced, and they continue that behavior no matter if they have millions of dollars or no matter if they have hundreds of dollars. So I'm not pulling for Pac-Man Jones, quite honestly. I think after a certain amount of period of time, your ability to get out of jail free is gone. So, Chris, what's your thoughts on this?
I mean, this is not the example that you want to be setting for the youth of America. These guys, they just get away with, like, not murder almost, but basically murder, right? And all these other kids just see that as, oh, well, as long as I can make it in the NFL, I can basically do whatever I want. And it's not a good example to be setting for children and kids who aspire to be, football players. It's just kind of tragic, honestly. I mean, like you said, talented, super talented athlete. Clearly something's going on. I don't know what his past looks like, but the sad, terrifying thing is like this is all the times he's getting caught, right? So I mean, like, what guy doesn't get away with a bunch that doesn't get him arrested, right? I mean, if someone like this is getting arrested once every year, I mean, that means he's probably doing some shit that we don't hear about,
Oh yeah.
He just gets away, like his driver gets him out of the scene before, or whatever, right? Not a great look, and it's sad that there's a lot of this in the NFL. It's not as bad now. I think the NFL's cleaned itself up a little bit, but it was bad a little bit there in the '90s. In the 2000s. So sad to see, but hopefully this is not the example of the NFL goes forward. So.
Yeah, I think the NFL is taking a position where it's more about characters. Obviously, teams look for talent, but character plays into it. If you haven't seen in the last couple of years, certain individuals or athletes that were involved in some scandals, teams went away with, unless your name was Deshaun Watson. But, the NFL has tried to do a better job of rehabilitating their image, and it continues. It's a constant daily thing. It's not a thing you're going to fix overnight. You have to stay on top of these things over time because, like I said, you have such an expansive league with so many players and things that happen. You can't keep every one of those players in check. Unfortunately, the reality of it is every player is beholden to their own actions. Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. So we'll see what happens going forward. But let's get to our last in the news topic. Oh, wait. What happened to our predictions?
Oh, well, I don't have one for our predictions, so I'll have to go back.
All right. It's okay. So we're going to do a little bit of a prediction because we've been going with the NBA playoffs. Currently, I am 2-0. Chris is 1-1. I chose the Pacers to win Game 1 because I didn't want to be predictable. It wasn't because I really actually thought they were going to win, but somehow, some way, I won that. Game 3, I am going to go with OKC. By the way, we're going straight out. We're just picking teams. We're not going against the money line. We're not going over-unders. Eventually, when we continue this a little bit further, we'll probably start talking about that. But Game 3, I'm going OKC in Indy, even though Pat McAfee might disagree with me with his prediction. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I don't think the Pacers can keep up. I think OKC showed us what it looks like to beat the Pacers in Game 2, and I think they're going to do the same thing. I was surprised they were 10-point favorites, and they covered in Game 2. They were also 9.5-point favorites in Game 1 and didn't. So, but yeah, they're almost double-digit favorites in both games. I don't know what their line is for Game 3, but.
Hold on, let's check. You know what? Well, we'll do it anyways. But let's pick it straight out. So we're both going OKC. Is that correct?
Correct, sir.
Okay. All right. So there you have it. Our picture OKC. Our next topic, we're going to talk a little bit about college baseball. I'm going to admit I have no idea what the hell happened this weekend, and my picks were horrific. After discussing this a little bit further and watching a lot of games, I can tell you SEC and the ACC, both in their super regional matchups, shit the bed.
100%.
To start, Louisville won. Great game, talent-wise. Do I think they have the talent to match up against other teams? I do not. Florida State, which I watched a lot of baseball this year. I thought they had a lot of talent. They went down to Oregon State. I underestimated Oregon State, meaning I watched a couple games. I didn't watch a lot, but I did watch a lot of Florida State's games. I was shocked. The team that broke my heart.
Pitching was really good.
Yeah. The team that broke my heart, UNC, they won the first game 18-2. It looked like smooth sailing.
I watched blow them out.
Yeah. I watched a lot of their games this year. But it goes to show anything can happen in the Super Regionals. Arizona actually knocked them out. My shocker as well was Coastal Carolina. They looked solid. They whipped Auburn, and I was not expecting that. UCLA beat UTSA. Duke is another ACC team that everybody had. Went down to Murray State. Murray State is the first time ever they're in the college World Series. I do not think Murray State is going to go far in the College World Series. I wouldn't be surprised if they lost the first two games. I'm very happy for them. LSU beat West Virginia. West Virginia had a hell of a year. LSU hit really well. West Virginia just pitching wasn't strong enough. Arkansas beat Tennessee. I love watching that. Arkansas, I'm going to tell you something. They are a complete package team this year. It's going to be very, very interesting to watch them going forward. The unique thing about this... Hold on, I just have to... No, LSU and Arkansas. Okay. So the interesting thing here is UCLA, Arizona, and Oregon State were all Pac-12 teams. They were all Pac-12 teams. So if the Pac-12 stayed together, those three teams would have led the charge in the College World Series, but they are not. I'm going to make a prediction about the College World Series now going forward. I think the two teams, I think there's three strong suits here. I think Oregon State, pitching, they look like a rounded team. Yeah. Coastal Carolina looks great. And I think Arkansas. Arkansas's got talent, they got team, and they play hard. So I think those are your top three teams. I think it's going to be interesting. I will say the ACC had immense opportunities with Florida State, with UNC, and Duke, and they shit the bed. Was not seeing that. But that's an overview. Yeah, Arkansas's got some real talent, though. If you watch their team, I think they have the most MLB players that are available in the draft, talent-wise. Our Oregon State's actually up there too, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting. LSU's got some arms though. Man, they got some arms. I think LSU's problem is hitting wise. They're not as complete, not as athletic as past teams, but they do have some arms. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But my three teams that I would be watching out for are Arkansas. It's going to be Oregon State, and it's going to be Coastal Carolina. And my sleeper out of all three of those are either going to be Coastal Carolina or Oregon State, depending on the way that the bracket is set up.
Yeah, I watched the Oregon State and then Coastal Carolina a little bit, and obviously UNC. I don't know what the hell happened in that match, but Oregon State looks good, and like you said, Coastal Carolina looks like a really good team. I didn't watch any of the Arkansas-Tennessee match, but yeah, I believe you. You're more of a baseball expert than I am, so.
Yeah, so LSU and Arkansas play against each other. I think Arkansas is going to take LSU down. Arkansas's number one pitcher is one of the top pitchers in the draft. They have a more complete bullpen. UCLA plays Murray State. UCLA, I think, is going to blow out Murray State. But what do I know? I've been wrong relatively soon.
We'll see.
Oregon State plays Louisville. I think Oregon State's got that one. And Coastal Carolina plays Arizona. I think Coastal Carolina got that one. But we'll see what happens. Every day changes. The College World Series also is an experience in itself. I'm going to try to get there. My father and my brother are going there for 2 days, so I'm going to see if I can swing along with them, but you never know. But they're going Saturday. So they're going Saturday and Sunday. So I'm going to try to see if I can get out there. If not, I will probably watch every game out there.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to our next topic, which is a big, big, big topic. If many of you not aware, the NCAA had a settlement that was agreed upon and approved. It's the House versus NCAA. Basically, it's a $2.8 billion 10-year settlement that will pay past players for missed name, image, and likeness opportunities, and it allows colleges to pay current players directly starting July 1st. This is a game changer. So basically, schools can share as much as $20 million of their revenues with players during the upcoming academic year. The settlement also includes $2.8 billion in back payments for athletes who competed between 2016 and 2024. The revenue sharing cap will increase by 4% each year during the 10-year agreement. This is crazy, ladies and gentlemen. And by the way, I will not be receiving any of this money because I played baseball before 2016, which upsets me. I played baseball at the wrong damn time. There's going to be a couple of issues here because some of the schools are going to have to cut players from their rosters in the springs. You're going to have to cut out certain sports when it comes to money. How are you going to dictate the amount of money being paid to teams? Obviously, football and basketball are going to get a lot of this money. It's gonna be a weird time, and not to mention what's gonna go on with the booster money now that's being flowed into the school. Is that going to be additional money that pays players? I haven't read all of that. It's going to be interesting. But yeah, so like I can tell you, for example, football teams, based on this, football teams will shrink their size of their rosters to 105 players, which means they're cutting more than 20 players off the football rosters. Don't forget, kids still get subsidies for, did I just say subsidies?
Yeah, you did.
I did say subsidies. Wow. Kids still get scholarships. They still get they get the boosters money. They get the school money, and then also they get money from the school for living expenses, books, and stuff like that. Chris, what's your thoughts on this? The schools paying players directly now.
Well, I mean, they've been paying players all the time forever, so this isn't new, it's just legal. My only concern is kind of what we're seeing in basketball with NIL money, and that you're kind of eliminating the Cinderella story from from really happening because all these schools are loading up on talent because they have the money to pay, and guys like Steph Curry are not going to Davidson, right? I mean, as an example. I mean, if he's going to make $5 million, he's not going to go to Davidson. He's going to go somewhere else. So there's that aspect. The other aspect that bothers me a little bit is college football is more emotional than professional. It's more raw, I think. And when you start getting money involved, I'm just concerned that there's going to be players that, I'm going to get paid. Who cares? Kind of attitude. You know what I mean? And so I'm worried that there's going to be kind of a period of time where there's going to be some schools that figure it out, and they're going to be able to kind of keep the players in check, especially the schools that have kind of high-profile coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be other schools that they're not going to have. They're just going to not have the ability to keep these players, from kind of whenever they want because they're getting money. Right? You give a 20-year-old $1 million, and expect him to behave himself. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So
I
just don't want the competition to be lowered. I don't care about the players getting money. I'm happy that they're getting paid. They should get paid. I just don't want the competition to go away, and I don't want the raw sort of emotional aspect of college sports to dissipate as a result.
Yeah, so this confirms now that the NCAA is no longer a collegiate athlete. You are the minor league system for professional sports. As such, I hate to put it this way, now that the schools are paying players directly, I'm going to foresee a CBA, collective bargaining agreement, or some union coming in now to protect players because they're making money from the school directly. Therefore, they're entitled to benefits. Therefore, they should be designated as employees, protected. I see that is going to be the next issue, which will destroy the collegiate athletic system in total. There's been discussions about a college sports commission coming in that oversees the settlement terms, which includes, the NIL deals, tracking player revenue sharing contracts. That's great and all. I think it's great that they're keeping track of this now, and there's now a framework in place. But for me personally, you're going to start seeing a lot more colleges that can't fund programs, that don't have the capabilities of paying players or funding sports programs, going to be around anymore. And I hate to put that way. So what people don't realize is there's something called buy games, where smaller schools go to the major universities. They get $1 million, they get $750,000, they get $2 million to just get their ass kicked. That's the reality of it. And what that $2 million, $1 million, sometimes for some schools, it funds their sports program for the year. Unfortunately, with this new setup, you're not going to have schools being able to pay these the continued cost. You're going to cut programs. You're going to move out of Division I. You might move to Division III. You might move to Division II because you can't work or you can't provide under the same legal framework as the other big schools, bigger conferences. I hate to say this, you're going to see some of your smaller conferences like the MACs, the NECs. They're going to have struggles. You're probably going to see some teams leaving. I'm happy, but the one thing about this is the change. It's going to change everything. And I don't know if that change is good. Last year's NCAA tournament for basketball, there weren't as many upsets. The last 2 years, there haven't been as many upsets because what happens? Your bigger schools are in those tournaments, and a 16.
Making money.
Yeah, and they're good players. Like I follow a local school called Iona. Iona College has always been a good mid-major program. They had Rick Pitino before he went to St. John's. They were making wavelengths. But the one thing that Iona has that saves it is its alumni who are big names that throw a lot of money into the school to help them pay for players, and through your boosters. Going forward, you got to be crafty. You got to think of different things. Iona maybe could potentially survive in this environment. I think they will because of proximity and alumni. There's people that can help them. But some of these other schools that are mid-majors just don't have the same capabilities. And I think The problem with this is you're really going to see the falling out of athletic programs from mid-major schools.
What I foresee is there's going to be some schools that give honorary doctorates degrees to some really wealthy people for their donation.
Good point.
And you see a bunch of like wealthy a-holes that basically pay to get an honorary doctorate's degree and honorary alumni status, and then they're going to donate a shit ton of money so that they can pay athletes to perform.
Yeah, I definitely see something like that coming across along the lines. I think some of these schools with your endowment funds, I think they're going to dip into some of this stuff. They're going to find money. There's a lot of colleges that are financially not fiscal. Like what a lot of people don't understand is a lot of these colleges' budgets are through the roof. Enrollments down, costs are going up, enrollments down. You have a lot of colleges that are out there that were created which have enormous budgets for no reason, and fiscally they're not responsible. And I hate to say this, you're going to see a couple of these schools going bankrupt and going out of business soon. So this new ruling I think is great. I'm upset that I don't get any money. I think it's good to pay individuals back pay for the past. But do I think it's equitable for some players? No. Johnny Manziel bringing $1 billion to Texas A&M, and he's not going to see anywhere close to the money that they're going to give him here. But we'll see what happens, quite frankly. But there's a good framework in place, and the NCAA is taking or doing moves to help out. So let's see what goes on. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, schools like Harvard, their endowment fund's $50 billion. So, I mean, they can do whatever they want, right?
I thought it was more than $50 billion.
$53 billion. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah.
Not bad. They got a couple bucks.
I mean, they can do whatever they want. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, they got a couple bucks. Not much. All right, what's our next topic, ladies and gentlemen? We're going to talk about Lefty Still Got It. If you don't know who Lefty is, it's a Philly Mickelson. If you're not aware, Phil Mickelson is a longtime PGA Tour pro, now on the LIV Tour. He's won several majors. He's won the U.S. Open. He's won multiple tournaments, and he is a great golfer. He's unfortunately towards the back end of his career, but he is still pulling the magic. Chris, tell us what happened.
So for those of you who don't know, Mickelson's right-handed, and a lot of people say that if you want, the best golfers should swing the opposite of their strong hand. So if you're a right-hander, you should swing left-hander because the right hand has got all the power and all the stability. So Mickelson's a right-hander that swings lefty, and you can tell the way that he has control of the ball around the greens, his hand-eye coordination, and what he can do with the club that most people can't. This is an example. So if you can see the flag in this picture, and you can see where he's aimed, he basically hits the ball, almost over his shoulder, and he chips it in. I mean, it's a flop shot that goes almost backwards, pretty much backwards. And he's done it before. I've seen it, a bunch of times.
He's done it in practice. He hasn't done it in actual tournaments.
In a tournament, and not only was it in the tournament, but it also went in. I mean, chipped it in. It's ridiculous. We don't want to show you the video because we'll get copyright infringement or whatever.
Yeah, we'll get blocked again.
So.
Yeah. So to give you
Ricardo's account.
Yeah. So to give you guys a little bit idea, this is called a flop shot. It's when you basically flatten your club out, and what the intention here is to hit such a high ball that it lands. He's currently in the bunker, and it's supposed to land over the bunker onto the green. And typically, your objective is to land it on the green, but more so softly, maybe rolls, it doesn't roll, depending on the placement. And here, what the unique nature of this is the complexity of this swing. So it's on a hill while he's standing in the bunker with a flat club, and his body is completely in the wrong position. Yeah, the position. So what ended up happening here is he hit a flop shot, got it on the green, and in fact, it goes in. Phil Mickelson is known for his crazy, obscene, and ridiculous shots. He's known to hit shots that are uncommon. But somehow, this guy is still playing in professional golf. I can't believe it. He's only made $100+ million in his career. How would he ever do this? Look, the reality of it is
Gambled like $100 million, right?
allegedly. Allegedly. We have no confirmation on that one. But no, this shot goes in. Unfortunately, he didn't win the tournament. The U.S. Open is this weekend. Chris, where's the U.S. Open at?
Oh man, Chambers.
Wrong, Oakmont.
Oakmont. Yeah.
If you've seen any photos of Oakmont, I mean, oh my God. Some of the practice rounds, the numbers that have come in now for the practice round, supposedly Rory shot an 81 in his practice round. I can't remember the other professional. I think he shot a 92 or something. So the unique thing about Oakmont's Country Club's course, besides the fact that the course is challenging, not the course is challenging, that the rough is tough, the greens are extremely fast.
So even if you get on the green, you don't guarantee the two putt.
Yeah, there's been a couple of analysts or some sports legends that think potentially this might not even be a negative tournament. They think that it will be positive, and what I mean by positive is a +1, +2, an even card instead of being the traditional 2 under, 3 under, 4 under, whatever. The conditions are challenging. You have your players, but the unique thing about Phil is if Phil does not win, his exemption doesn't come in play for any of the major tournaments anymore. So this might be the last time we see Phil playing in a major tournament.
Oh, because he's not getting exemption.
He doesn't get an exemption. Because now he's part of the Live
So he needs
golf
to
tournament.
place in the top 10, right? Basically.
Yeah, basically he's got a place to get the exemptions. Now, over like I think Live and PGA Tour or some of these like U.S. Open and Masters, they came to an agreement where there's still a path to an exemption, but you have to play a certain amount of tournaments, not Live tournaments. The problem is Phil's only been playing the Live tournament, so his path to get that exemption might be a political one instead of one based on his performance. But it's going to be a fun one.
He's still exempt from, right? That's 10 years.
Yeah, there's.
He just
Yeah.
won the PGA. US Open.
I think it's the U.S. Open.
U.S. Open's 10 years, and it's been a long time since he's won the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
And the Masters, obviously, if you win, you can play forever. And Mickelson has won the Masters, correct?
Yeah. So let me see.
But he has not won the Open. Or is it the Masters he hasn't won?
So his
I'm pretty sure he's won
exemption.
the Masters.
Yeah, his exemption. This is the last year for his exemption. He won the Open because he won the PGA Tour. I think it was the PGA Championship in 2021. Right. So this is, I think, his last one. When you win the PGA, 5 years. It's a 5-year exemption. Yeah, it's a 5-year exemption. So he's not going to be able to play in any of the other tournaments. That's basically the way it works. So. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I think Scotty is the favorite again. Rory has,
Really good.
yeah, and Rory, forget about it. He's looked, how do I say it, not good in his last tournament. He struggled heavily after winning the Masters, which, as much as I like Rory, as much as I dislike Rory, I was happy to see him win because he played some great golf. But we'll see what happens at the U.S. Open this week. I'm hoping Phil plays good. I don't know. Is Tiger playing this week or no?
I have not seen, but
He's kind of getting close to his end.
I don't know. It's going to be an interesting tournament. I mean, in any U.S. Open, par is a good score. So,
Well, if I was on the tour, I'd be shooting like 6 under, 7 under.
have you seen both par fives are over 600 yards?
Yeah. Oh.
Both are 670, which is insane. 3 of the 4 par threes are over 200. One of them's 280 something, like 280-yard par three, which is nuts. I mean, and you add the rough to that, right? You have a 280-yard. I mean, what are you hitting for 280? Like 3-wood, basically. I mean, well, a lot of these guys are going to be hitting, 5-wood.
Yeah, I'd probably hit my 3-wood. I would hit my 3-wood. I think I could. Yeah, I think I could get there with my 3-wood on that one. I'm being
I'm talking about
serious.
these
I could
guys.
get there.
Yeah. Well, anyways, and so like, but if you miss the green, you're dead, right?
Well, listen, I could
280 yards, you
hit.
miss the green,
I was
you're
just
dead.
I was just gonna
5
say.
feet and you're screwed. I mean, how hard is that?
I was just gonna say I could hit my 3-wood probably about 275. The difference is, can I hit it straight?
Oh, yeah.
And on the way this course is set up, I'm not hitting it anywhere close. There was a
You're better off just laying up to a number.
yeah, exactly.
At 280.
You gotta lay up.
Lay
Yeah,
up to a
you gotta
number
lay up.
at 280, and then try to get it in close with some shot, and then
Oh yeah, yeah.
ridiculous.
The course itself is just challenging, but if you've seen some of the videos of the practice rounds, forget about it. It's a joke.
Yeah, and some of these shots I've seen of people dropping the ball like 5 feet off the green
Oh.
and just disappearing. You're like, geez.
Yeah, disappearing in the rough, forget about it. The only other course that I can think of that has rough like this is Wingfoot, near me. Wingfoot's,
Torrey when they grew
Oh,
up for the Open.
yeah, Torrey
Torrey's
is.
rough is nuts.
Torrey is rough too. I'm sorry, I played Torrey. I still think, Wingfoot. I haven't played Oakmont. I would love to play it. Haven't had the opportunity, but I played Torrey. I played Wingfoot. Wingfoot is just a beast. The problem with Wingfoot for me is you think you're on the green and you're in good position, and the green's like 200 feet, and you're like, wait, I'm gonna have to use a chip, or I'm gonna have to use my 56 on the green. It's like, this is how far. Yeah, it's insane. So let's keep an eye on this U.S. Open. Who's your prediction to win it all?
I mean, it's hard not to pick Scheffler right now. I would be surprised if he's not in contention in the weekend.
I see. My problem is I think Scheffler definitely is going to be up there because he's been playing lights out golf. Don't get me wrong, but there's a couple players that I might go with. There's a couple players I might honestly choose over him. I think his head is filled right now. Last U.S. Open, I think he got arrested, or was that the Masters that he got arrested at?
That was the Masters. That was a while.
That was Masters. Yeah, I think the typical crew you always got to look at is. I think Bryson's playing, right? DeChambeau.
Yeah, he'll be in. I think I'm hoping to see Scott.
Yeah, I gotta go. I'm going Bryson.
DeChambeau. I would love to see those two in the final pairing on Sunday. That would be.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Bryson. I just think Bryson's been playing phenomenal golf lately as well. And yeah, he's been playing phenomenal golf as well. And the one thing about him is the last round. It's been that last round lately that he's struggled with, round 4. So we'll see. But my pick is Bryson. All right, let's go to our last topic, ladies and gentlemen. This is Chris's topic because he loves women. We're going to talk about women's flag football. Chris, take us away on this.
I just thought this was a fascinating topic. It looks like this is the first NCAA sanctioned league for women's flag football. It's been kind of growing in notoriety now for a little bit. It's even being considered as an Olympic sport. It's actually got more popularity outside of college right now than it does in college. There's a lot more women's flag football leagues, like in semi-professional arenas sort of thing. I don't know. I think it's interesting, especially I really like this coming up with Father's Day weekend coming up. I mean, this is kind of like the perfect sort of segue for a lot of fathers out there who's they're excited to see their daughter play football, right? Because they didn't have a boy or whatever, right? And it's a sport that they can play without really getting hurt too much, anyways. So
First
something
off,
interesting. I'm curious to see how it goes.
I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not watching it.
I
I'd rather
watch it.
I'd rather watch the women's lingerie league. Okay.
Look. Secretly, this is a great segue to the women's lingerie league. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's a setup. Look, I don't know how I feel about this. I really don't. Look, do I think it's great for the opportunity, like to play flag football, and it's another active, activity to do and keep yourself in shape and all that. But at the end of the day, playing football is great. Getting more people involved is great, especially setting up something their own is great. But the reality of it is, how many women are really, how do I put it, the interest in to play flag football, or kind of the financial investment into it? Is there any? Is there, like, you know what I mean? Like, is there a crowd? Like the lingerie league, the reason why I bring it up, and it's not to harp on it, but there's a sense of excitement. There's, literally no clothes, A, and B, women be getting, like, laid out. Some of the women get hit hard, the aggressiveness. I will watch a game only because of one reason, and it's because of...
You like titties. I got it.
I wasn't going to go that way, but you know where my mind was. I will watch it because actually I enjoy, because they lay some hits.
Yeah.
I mean, they lay some hits. And these women just get up like, oh, and they get up to the next play. If one of these women hit me that hard, I'd be on the ground. I'd be knocked out cold. Like, I watched one game where a girl was coming across, or a woman was coming across the middle on like a slant, caught a pass. Middle linebacker was just like, boom, with the elbow. I was like, oh my God. And this woman was on the ground for like 2 minutes, and she just popped up afterwards like, all right, let's get it again. If that was me, I would have died.
Chris Farley. Oh my God.
Yeah. Honestly, this league, I'm happy for them. I hope it brings happiness and joy. Don't ask me for any money. Don't ask me to subsidize it. It's the new thing nowadays. I don't know if you've realized, but the MLB is investing in a women's softball league. The NBA is obviously invested in the WNBA. And now, what's the other league? There's another... Is it the roller derby? No, there's another league. But yeah, so more of the story. No, there's another league that they're investing in, the
NHL.
women's. I don't know if it was the NHL. I think it might have been another football league or something like that. But I know the MLB is now investing in a women's.
Has a semi-pro women's flag football. So
Do they really?
yeah, apparently.
Apparently, have you gone to a game?
No.
Have you gone to a game? Have you supported?
No, when I was looking at this article, I noticed that Indiana.
Yeah, I saw that there's the softball league. I was watching the game last night, which actually was kind of fun to watch. I would enjoy that if I went to a game. But still, if I want to watch a women's sport, I'm sorry, right now, the WNBA, and it's
teams that I like watching: the Liberty,
Yeah.
and the Fever, everything.
And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be honest. You just hit it on the head. I can watch the Las Vegas Aces, the Fever, and the Liberty.
Liberty,
Those
pretty
three
much it.
teams I can watch, and it's not, I hate to put it this way, the quality of basketball with those three teams
Oh my God.
is just better.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it. You have stars on each one of those teams. You watch them. They play through them. I can watch that all day long. There's some games that I want, like the Chicago Sky right now. If I hear Angel Reese anymore, I mean, oh my God. It is sloppy. The Chicago Sky is sloppy basketball. The athleticism's not there. Angel Reese is a stat patter. And I'm sick of hearing about her because I watch her games. She is just
She's bad.
she has not made an improvement from last year.
No.
Like, she really hasn't. She does the same things.
It always makes me laugh because when I was in 8th grade, I played on a team that won the championship for the league or whatever in Oregon.
Yeah, it's
I
probably
was the guy.
suck.
So I was 6 foot, like I was 5'11", 6 foot in 8th
Mhm.
grade, and I sucked at basketball. I was terrible. I played basketball my entire life. My hand-eye coordination had not caught up with my growth spurts, and I was the guy that they put in when we were up by 20 in the fourth quarter, and I would pass the ball to myself like 4 times off the backboard. Get like my stat line at the end of the game would be like 4 points, 9 offensive rebounds, and like half of them were just me trying to make the basket and passing it back to myself, right?
Well, that's Angel Reese.
And then I see Angel Reese, and I'm like, holy shit, I lived that in my middle school days. Like,
that's Angel Reese. The whole thing is she hasn't, I watch her, she has not improved her game at all. Her field goal percentage last time I checked was 31%. That's pathetic. Like, don't get me wrong, she gets rebounds.
Really bad because of how close she is to the basket. She shoots.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, she gets rebounds. I don't want to take it away from her.
She gets like,
but like
at least 3 or 4 a game are her own rebounds.
You know who she reminds me of? But at least he can back it up a little bit. Is you remember LeBron James in the playoffs when he was like, I'm the greatest basketball player to ever live? That reminds me of her because, she was like, everybody's tuning into WNBA. Not just for her. They're tuning in for me. No. Nobody is tuning in for you. If you haven't noticed.
The Indiana Fever game when Caitlin Clark wasn't there in Chicago.
Oh, you're talking about when Fever blew them out.
No. So, they did. They won. Yeah. But they originally they were going to play in the Bulls Stadium because Caitlin Clark was going to be there.
Yeah, I heard about this. Yeah.
When Caitlin Clark got hurt, ticket price went down to $3.
Yeah. But that's what scares me though is if Caitlin Clark, when she retires and she's done with the NBA or she's past with her prime, who's the next big superstar?
Sophie Cunningham is fun to watch.
Is that the hot one?
Yeah.
Is that the one that's allegedly sleeping with the Phoenix Mercury owner or the Phoenix owner?
Yeah.
Which is like hilarious because there's no factual basis on that.
He's so fat and ugly.
Yeah, but there's no factual basis for it. It's alleged. But yeah. All right, there you have it, everybody. There's another episode of Almost Athletes, episode 7, the good, the bad, and the arrested or the convicted. Tune in tomorrow. We're going to have our other podcast, Almost Patriots. We start at 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time. East Coast Time, 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Do me a favor. If you rewatch this, watch this, put your notifications on, comment, like. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear if you disagree with us. Love to hear from you if you do agree with us. But put your notifications on, subscribe, so you get our videos. Everyone have a good one. Chris, you're still ugly as hell. Everybody, we'll see you tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 4 o'clock Pacific.